Want to speak real Korean from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at KoreanClass101.com.
Hi, welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean grammar. Word order refers to the order in which words are structured to form a sentence in a given language. Consider the English sentence, I saw a movie. But first, let's remove the article a here for simplicity. So we're just left with I saw movie. The basic word order for English is subject, verb, object, or SVO for short. If we break down the English sentence, I saw a movie, we can see that the subject I is presented first, followed by the verb saw, and then finally the object movie is positioned last. This is the basic word order for sentences in English.
Now, let's compare the same sentence, I saw a movie, in Korean. 나는 영화를 봤어요. If we break down the Korean sentence, we get the subject 나, meaning I, then comes the object 영화, meaning movie, and finally we have the verb 봤어요, meaning saw. The word order for Korean then is subject, object, verb, or SOV for short.
In both languages, the subject is presented first. In English, though, it's followed by the verb and then the object, compared to the object being first and the verb last in Korean. The same sentence in Korean is essentially I movie saw, subject first, then object and verb last, SOV. This is the basic word order for sentences in Korean.
Okay, let's move on to the next section.
English is what is called a subject-prominent language. This simply means that the subject is slightly more important than other components in the sentence. It's the key piece of information other components in the sentence relate to. Who is doing the action is slightly more important than what is being done or which object it's been done to in English. If we had to slowly remove pieces of information from a sentence while trying to keep its essence intact, logically we would do so in order of least important to most important. If we were to omit the subject, we would get saw a movie, which sounds strange. On the other hand, if we were to omit the object instead, the sentence would become I saw. Even though in each instance we omitted a piece of information, the reason I saw sounds less strange is because we've yet to break any grammatical rules, and so there's still potential for the sentence fragment to become a complete sentence and to become grammatically correct. Since the latter is logical, this indicates that the subject is more important than the object in English. The same is true if we had omitted the verb. Since the subject is the integral component in the sentence, this makes English a subject-prominent language.
Korean, on the other hand, is a topic-prominent language. Unlike English, the focus of each Korean sentence is the topic, not the subject. Essentially, the watched a movie portion, 영화를 봤어요, is the main focus of the sentence. The subject I can be omitted.
In fact, if it's obvious what the subject is, or if it's already been established, it's quite normal to omit the subject from the conversation altogether in Korean. Let's look at this aspect in a bit more detail. More often than not, if you wanted to say, I saw a movie in Korean, you would not say,
나는 영화를 봤어요.
Instead, you would more likely say, movie saw in Korean.
영화를 봤어요.
Korean is a topic-prominent language. Thus, the information to be shared is the act of seeing a movie. The subject is less important and is usually omitted altogether. Most Korean sentences are constructed and spoken like this in real life.
영화를 봤어요.
On the other hand, when it's unclear who or what the subject is, or if you wanted to place emphasis on the subject, like if you wanted to specify from a group of people that it was you who saw the movie, then you would include the subject.
제가 영화를 봤어요.
But more often than not, in spoken Korean, you can omit the subject, particularly if that subject is you.
선물을 샀어요. 택시를 타고 돌아왔어요.
Knowing this, we can easily express any simple action in Korean using just the object and the verb. Try to create the sentence, I ate an apple, from these sets of words.
먹었어요. 사과를.
Got it? The object goes first, so let's put apple here. And the verb goes last, So let's put 8 at the end. Finally, we connect them using the appropriate particle. And that's it.
사과를 먹었어요.
Which means, I ate an apple in Korean.
사과를 먹었어요.
Well done. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Korean sentences are formed using a subject-object-verb, or SOV, word order. The most important aspect of Korean sentences is not the subject but the topic of the sentence. Most sentences spoken in Korean will not actually contain a subject, especially if that subject is obvious. And lastly, you can create basic sentences in Korean by putting the object first and the verb last. Hi, welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean pronunciation. Pronunciation refers to the manner in which a word is spoken, so don't focus on reading what's on screen. Instead, focus on listening and repeating. Korean is referred to as a syllable-timed language. What this means is that the syllables in Korean follow each other at regular intervals, usually with the same amount of time allocated for each syllable.
고마워요. 고마워요.
Each syllable is pronounced for an equal amount of time.
고마워요.
Since Korean is a syllable-timed language, there is no word stress. English, on the other hand, is a stress-timed language. Syllables that are stressed are valued greater than syllables that are unstressed. Individual. The stressed syllable vi in individual is deemed more important, so it's pronounced longer than all other syllables. Listen to it again. Individual. This gives English a Morse code-like rhythm, where the pace is sometimes fast and at other times slow. Compare this once again with Korean, which is even throughout.
고마워요.
Individual.
고마워요. 고마워요.
When pronouncing Korean words, focus on giving equal time to each syllable as you say the characters out loud. There are 10 basic vowel sounds in Korean, which are used to create a total of 21 vowel sound combinations. Let's take a look at how some of the basic vowels are pronounced.
아, 어, 오, 우, 으, 이.
There are also iotized vowel sounds in Korean. This simply means that there's an added Y sound.
야, 여, 요, 유.
Finally, there are diphthongs, which are two vowels pronounced closely together to form a gliding sound.
와, 워.
These are some of the basic vowel sounds in Korean. There are 14 basic consonants that produce a total 19 consonant sounds in Korean. All of these sounds are categorized into nasal, plain, aspirated, or tense sounds. You can think of these categories as going from soft to harder sounding consonants. Nasal consonants are consonant sounds which are pronounced through the nose. These consist of M, N, and NG type sounds.
느, 무, 으.
Plain consonant sounds are called that because they do not have special features added to them. Think of the T sound in stand or the P sound in span.
그, 드, 브, 스, 즈.
Aspirated consonant sounds, on the other hand, have an added turbulent sound. These sounds are like the English T sounds in tuck or take or the P in puck.
크, 트, 프, 츠, 흐.
Aspirated sounds are pronounced with a big burst of air, unlike plain sounds which do not have this quality. Compare the two categories of sounds.
그, 크, 느, 트, 브, 프.
Tense consonants, also known as double consonants, are pronounced with a stiffer voice. More pressure is built up and it's released much more quickly than plain sounds.
끄, 뜨, 브, 스, 즈.
Korean has a handful of sounds that are similar to English. They're not identical, however, so don't make the mistake of pronouncing them as such.
One of the most unique sounds in Korean is the consonant 리을. 르.
This consonant is often romanized as an R or an L, but there isn't an equivalent sound in English.
라마.
This sound is actually somewhere between an L and an R sound. When pronouncing this sound, your tongue should strike the gum ridge behind your upper teeth in a quick, rapid motion. Listen and repeat after Jay.
르, 르, 라마, 라마.
Well done! Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. In this lesson, you learned that Korean is a syllable-timed language. You also learned the different categories for vowel and consonant sounds in Korean. And you discovered that there are some consonant sounds which do not have an English equivalent.
Imagine you're in a Korean restaurant. You are ready to order and need to get the waiter's attention. What do you say? 안녕하세요, 이재입니다. Jerry here. Anyone can learn how to order food in a Korean restaurant. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Mark and Karen are getting ready to order at a Korean restaurant. Let's watch.
아주머니 여기 주문이요.
뭘로 드릴까요?
김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요.
아, 물도 하나 주세요. 물은 셀프입니다.
아주머니 저희 김치 좀 더 주세요.
Now with English.
아주머니 여기 주문이요.
뭘로 드릴까요?
김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요.
아, 물도 하나 주세요. 물은 셀프입니다.
아주머니 저희 김치 좀 더 주세요.
Here are the keywords from the scene.
주문, 주문, order, 주문, 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 셀프, 셀프, self-service, 셀프, 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 물, 물, water, 물, 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 김치, 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 순두부, 순두부, soft tofu, 순두부, 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 찌개, 찌개, soup, stew, 찌개, 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 더, more, 더, 아주머니, 아주머니. Casual way to say Mrs. 아주머니, 아주머니, 아주머니. 드리다, 드리다. To give. 드리다, 드리다, 드리다.
And now a breakdown of some of the Korean you heard in the scene.
And the scene, how did Mark order? 김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요. 김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요. 김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요. It means one kimchi stew and one soft tofu stew, please. When you order food, first say the name of the food. For example, 김치찌개 if you want to have kimchi stew. Then say how many you need, for example, 하나 for one, 두 개 for two, 세 개 for three. Then simply add 주세요, which literally means please give. If you want to order two kimchi stews, you can say 김치찌개 두 개 주세요. When you order 2 or more items, you can connect food names with the word 랑, which means and. Using this pattern, if you want to order 1 kimchi and 1 bowl of rice, you can say 김치 하나랑 밥 하나 주세요. Now you try. Say Mark's line.
뭘로 드릴까요?
김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요. What did Mark say when he wanted to get more kimchi? 아주머니, 저희 김치 좀 더 주세요. 김치 좀 주세요. 김치 좀 주세요. It means, please give me more kimchi. Mark wanted to get more kimchi, so he said the word kimchi first. As you know, kimchi is the name of a very common Korean side dish. This phrase ends with the verb 주세요. It's an honorific form of the verb 주다, which means to give. In this line, Mark also uses the word 좀. In this context, it's used to ask more politely. If you don't use the word 좀 and just say 김치 주세요, kimchi please, it sounds a bit rude because it's very direct. By adding the word 좀, you can make your request less direct and therefore more polite. Now you try. Say Mark's line asking for more kimchi. 아주머니, 저희 김치 좀 더 주세요.
Now the lesson focus. Here's how to order food at a Korean restaurant.
Korean restaurants are a little different from other types of restaurants. When you're ready to order in a Korean restaurant, you simply need to raise your hand and say 저기요, which means excuse me there. If you're eating in a traditional Korean restaurant, it's normal to address the female staff in the restaurant as 아주머니 if they are over the age of 30. To male staff, you can use 아저씨. Listen again to what Mark said. 아주머니, 여기 주문이요. If it is too loud for the waiters to hear you, call the staff again. It's not rude. Some of the most popular Korean dishes people order are 김치찌개 or kimchi stew and 순두부찌개 or stew with soft tofu. These foods are a bit spicy, so if you don't like spicy foods, look for a dish called 불고기. 불고기 is sliced and seasoned barbecued beef. This is another popular dish among foreigners. If you're not quite sure what to order, ask the waiter, 여기 뭐가 가장 맛있어요? It means, what's the most delicious food here? And they will tell you a few of their most popular dishes. When you finally decide on what to order, say the name of the food you want and say 주세요. Listen to what Mark said. 김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요. Simply say the name of the food and add 주세요, meaning please give. If you just need 1 kimchi stew, for example, you can say 김치찌개 하나 주세요. Most dishes are served with a serving of rice and assorted side dishes for free. These side dishes are called 반찬. They can be refilled for free. You can get more by saying the food name and 좀 더 주세요. For example, if you need more kimchi, you can say 김치 좀 더 주세요. Please give us more kimchi. If you need a bottle of water, say 물 좀 더 주세요. It means please give me a bottle of water. Sometimes restaurants have a sign that says 물은 셀프입니다. This literally means water is for self-service. They post it to say you should pour your own water, so look around first for the sign before you ask them to bring water.
Now it's time to practice your new ability.
You're in a traditional Korean restaurant and you've called the waitress over. Ready? Here we go. You want to order 1 kimchi stew. How will you order? 김치찌개 하나 주세요. You've run out of side dishes and need them refilled. What should you say? 김치 좀 더 주세요. Great job. 김치찌개 하나 주세요. 김치 좀 더 주세요.
잘했어요. Now, watch the scene one more time. After that, you'll be ready to order food at a Korean restaurant. 안녕히 계세요.
아주머니 여기 주문이요.
뭘로 드릴까요?
김치찌개 하나랑 순두부찌개 하나 주세요.
아, 물도 하나 주세요. 물은 셀프입니다.
아주머니 저희 김치 좀 더 주세요.
Hello, and welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. In this series, you'll learn everything you need to know to get started learning Korean.
That's right, and we're here to help guide you through your journey. In this lesson, you'll learn why you should start learning a new language, why it should be Korean in particular, and how to get started.
Let's begin with the most obvious question. Why learn a new language?
There are countless reasons, but perhaps the biggest one of all is that it could actually change your life. Learning a new language unlocks new pathways that are off limits to you now. There are certain things that you simply cannot do without having the technical or cultural skills that come from learning a new language.
Like working or living in another country.
Knowing another language provides you with greater job opportunities. It gives you the freedom to move to another country halfway around the world to earn a living, or better yet, build a career from it, rather than being stuck in one place. Language allows you to visit or live in places that you may never have even considered going simply because that wasn't a possibility for you. Knowing another language simply gives you more options to choose from.
And learning a new language also helps you to be more open-minded and see the world from a new perspective.
Language and culture go hand in hand. The world is a big place, and by broadening your understanding of other cultures, it allows you to be more empathetic and understanding of the many different ways that people live their lives. With language, you're able to see and experience more, which helps you to grow as a person.
Learning a new language also improves your memory.
Several studies have consistently shown that those who study another language have improved memory as opposed to those who didn't learn another language. Learning another language also keeps your brain healthy by significantly delaying the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. This difference can be as much as 4 to 5 more years of quality life.
And those are just some of the reasons you should learn another language. The list just goes on and on.
Now you know the benefits of studying another language, but why should you learn Korean in particular?
Have you heard of Gangnam Style, the biggest hit song in 2012? The hit drama My Love from the Stars? Or popular boy bands Big Bang or EXO? The one thing they all have in common is that they are all part of Korean pop culture.
Korean pop culture is trending worldwide. K-pop artists are performing to sold-out shows all over the world. Korean dramas and movies are being remade, not just in Asia, but in Western countries as well, such as the United States.
K-pop stars also influence the fashion industry, as the clothing and accessories worn by K-pop singers and TV stars tend to sell out instantly worldwide.
Learning Korean, then, will allow you to take in all that Korean pop culture has to offer.
And contrary to popular belief, Korean is not a difficult language. Unlike some other Asian languages which require you to learn thousands of characters, Korean characters, known as Hangul, acts more like an alphabet, so it's much easier to learn.
And did you know that Korea is one of the highest-ranked countries in terms of innovation?
That's right. Korea is one of the most innovative countries in the world. It's also one of the largest economies in Asia. But did you also know that Korea is one of the easiest countries in the world to do business in?
Korea is one of the top-ranking countries in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index, meaning it's very easy for foreign companies to do business in Korea.
Knowing Korean opens up many business opportunities. Understanding the language, the business etiquette, and work culture in Korea is essential in achieving success in the world of business. Oftentimes, it could even make or break an important business deal. Knowing Korean will put you ahead of the pack.
Okay then, we've talked about why you should start learning a language and why you should start learning Korean, but how should they get started, Jay?
Well, it's as simple as learning your first word in Korean and building up from there.
The good news, though, is that you already know some Korean.
피자, 아이스크림, 데이트.
There are many English loanwords that are used in Korean today. Even without teaching you any Korean, there's a good chance that you'll still recognize these Korean loanwords.
Let's teach you something that you might not know, but it's very useful. 반가워요. It means nice to meet you in Korean.
That's a useful phrase. Can you explain a little bit about what these characters are, though?
Sure, that's actually the Korean alphabet that we mentioned earlier called Hangul. And 반가워요 is a good phrase to know as it shows the various ways Hangul can be written, with a 받침 arranged horizontally from left to right, using a combination of two vowels and arranged top to bottom.
You'll learn about the grammatical rules and the writing system eventually, but for now, let's focus on practicing this phrase. Listen and repeat after Jay.
반가워요.
Now you try.
반가워요.
Your turn again.
반가워요.
Well done. Now you know how to say nice to meet you in Korean. We've covered a lot of things already, so why don't we wrap up the first lesson and recap what we've learned? In this lesson, you learned that studying another language has many benefits, such as providing new job and business opportunities. Learning Korean will help you understand more about Korean pop culture. And to say nice to meet you in Korean, it's
반가워요.
Hi. Welcome to Introduction to Korean. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by...
Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hee.
In this lesson, you'll learn the basics of Korean writing. Similar to English, Korean also uses an alphabet. However, there is a big difference in the way Korean is written.
Unlike the English alphabet, where each letter stands alone, Korean consonants and vowels are combined and grouped together into blocks. Each block represents one syllable.
You can think of each block as a square which you need to fill in using consonants and vowels until you've created a syllable.
Every block will require a minimum of one consonant and one vowel to create a syllable.
Usually, though, Korean syllables will consist of three parts: the initial, medial, and final. Initials are written at the top left of the block. Initials will always be consonants.
Keep in mind, though, that this doesn't mean that syllables in Korean will always start with a consonant sound. It only means that vowels cannot be written in the initial position. A silent consonant could take this position, thus starting the syllable with a vowel sound.
Medials, on the other hand, will always be a vowel. It could be a single vowel or a double vowel, in which case it'll have a gliding sound, sometimes perceived as a Y or a W sound.
The most basic Korean block then would consist of a consonant-vowel combination. Ga.
Sometimes a block may include a final. Finals are always consonants and are positioned below the vowel at the bottom of the syllabic block. This means that the initial, medial, final structure would be a combination of a consonant, a vowel or double vowel, and a consonant. Here's a useful phrase which includes various syllabic block structures we've just discussed.
반가워.
As you can see, the first block contains the consonant-vowel-consonant format we just mentioned.
반.
The second block is the basic consonant-vowel format. The vowel is a vertical one, so the consonant is written on the left.
가.
The third block contains a double vowel, so the structure is initial-medial, with the initial being a consonant and the medial a double vowel.
워.
Altogether, it's
반가워.
There are three basic rules for writing Korean characters. They are written from left to right, top to bottom, and from outside to inside.
This means that when you start writing a syllable in Korean, you start at the top left corner of the block.
Start at the top left corner and work down to the bottom right. Usually, the topmost horizontal line would come first, followed by any vertical strokes. If the consonant starts with a vertical stroke, you would start from the top left and work your way down, followed by any horizontal strokes.
그. As the first consonant is a 기역, you'd start from the top left and move toward the right for the first stroke, then move downward.
With Korean vowels, similar rules apply. You go from left to right and top to bottom. Most vowels in Korean start with a vertical stroke, however, so you would usually work your way from top to bottom, then left to right.
아.
We said initials, or the consonant, were written first. So if you put these two characters together,
가.
with a horizontal vowel, you would write the initial or consonant first,
그.
followed by the vowel below.
우.
Together,
구.
If you had a final consonant, then the order would be
반.
and should the medial be a double vowel with both horizontal and vertical components, the horizontal vowel would be written first, followed by the vertical vowel to the right.
워.
There you have it. Now you know how to write Korean characters within a syllabic block. In this lesson, you learned the basic rules of Korean writing. You learned that Korean consonants and vowels are grouped together to form syllabic blocks. You learned that there are usually 3 parts to a syllable: the initial, which is always a consonant, a medial, which can be a vowel or a double vowel, and a final, which is always a consonant. And lastly, Korean characters are written from the top left to the bottom right.
Hi everybody, Jay here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Korean questions. The question for this lesson is, why do 입니다 and 합니다 sound like 입니다 and 합니다? If you've just started studying Korean, you may have a little difficulty pronouncing Hangul, the Korean alphabet. You may have also noticed that sometimes the pronunciation of some combinations is different than they might appear on their own. Why? Because Korean has 4 nasal consonant sounds. When the nasal consonant sounds are paired with non-nasal consonant sounds, the pronunciation changes. For example, if you just read the Hangul on their own, you might want to say 입니다 and 합니다. But the correct pronunciations are actually 입니다 and 합니다. The nasal consonant sounds in Korean are 니은, 리을, 미음, and 이응. If you pair them with a non-nasal consonant sound, for example, 비읍, the pronunciation changes. This makes them easier to pronounce. So if you pair 비읍 with 니은, you can pronounce 비읍 as 미음. Finally, you'll get 입니다 instead of 입니다. Let's do another example. 국물 is the Korean word for soup. The consonant 기역 is for G sound in English, so you can read it as 국. But it's paired with the nasal sound 미음, so it changes the pronunciation from a G sound to an NG sound, and you need to read it as 국물. Just remember that if you see 2 consonants next to each other, check if one of them is nasal. If it is, both of them will have a nasal sound. Pretty interesting, right? I hope that answers the question. Please leave any more questions in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them. See you next time. 다음 시간에 만나요. Hi everybody, Jay here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Korean questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I use the pronoun you in Korean? Basically, the word 당신 means you in Korean, but it doesn't mean you the same way it does in English. If you're a fan of K-pop or Korean dramas, you'll hear this word a lot. But please be careful. You'll use this pronoun only when you're talking to 2 types of people, those you love and those you hate. If, for example, you say 당신 to your husband or wife, it'll mean something like honey or darling. However, if you're angry, you can also use the pronoun 당신 to initiate conflict with someone. In Korean, as with Japanese, we don't use you so often because it sounds really strong. Instead, people usually use the person's name followed by an honorific suffix such as 씨 to refer to someone they are speaking to in a conversation. For example, 재휘 씨 is like saying Mr. 재휘. Unlike in English though, the 씨 added on the end is natural and conveys respect. People will also use job titles in place of 씨, such as 선생님. This literally means teacher, but it can also function like Mr. or Mrs. too. Because you or 당신 is so strong in Korean, you can only use it for people you want to direct strong feelings toward. If the person you want to address is someone like a stranger or a co-worker, it's better to use the honorific suffix 씨 or their job title, as we mentioned earlier. If you want to address a group of people, you can use the word 여러분, meaning everyone. I hope that clears things up. Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. See you next time. Hi everybody, Jay here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of the most common Korean questions. The question for this lesson is, how many ways can you say yes in Korean? There are two formal ways to say yes in Korean. The one you might think of first is 네. But actually, the first official standard Korean word for yes is 예. Did you know that 네 only became standard in 1988? Nowadays, people use both. There are also two informal ways to say yes. If you're talking with close friends or people younger than you can use the words 응 and 응 usually sounds cute and typically has a more masculine sound. Let's break it down with some examples so you know which yes to use and when to use it. Say, for example, you're talking to your boss. Your boss asks if you finished the project you've been working on. To answer yes, you can use either 예 or 네. 예 is a little more polite. Let's imagine another scenario where you're talking to your friend. Your friend wants to know if you're going to come over to his house tomorrow. In this case, you can use either 응 or In our last situation, let's imagine you're talking to your mom. She is asking you if you finished your homework yet. Now, some Koreans speak to their parents using polite Korean and some don't. So this answer differs from family to family. In this case, you can use any of the words we've mentioned for yes, depending on the situation. An interesting tip worth noting is that because 예 was the original word for yes in Korean, the older generation tends to use it more. On the other hand, the younger generation tends to use 네, so it's good to know both. How was this lesson? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. See you next time. 다음 시간에 만나요. Hi everyone, I'm Jae-hui. Welcome back to Korean Top Words. In this video, we'll be checking out 10 ways to remember words. Let's see what we have. 노래를 듣고 가사를 외웁니다. I listen to songs and memorize the lyrics. Here we have the word meaning lyrics, which is 가사 in Korean. I think there are a huge number of Korean pop song fans, and for them, I think this is the first one that they've started when they studied Korean. 단어 읽기, 쓰기, 말하기를 여러 번 반복합니다. I use repetition, reading, writing, and speaking words over and over again. 단어 읽기, 쓰기, 말하기를 여러 번 반복합니다. I use repetition, reading, writing, and speaking words over and over again. I think doing something again and again is a very good way to memorize something, especially for languages. 사고 과정이 자연스러워지도록 한국어로 생각하려고 노력합니다. I try to think in Korean so it becomes natural to my thought process. 사고 과정이 자연스러워지도록 한국어로 생각하려고 합니다. I try to think in Korean so it becomes natural to my thought process. So just making sentences in the way of having subject, object, verb, not like subject, verb, object in English. I think you can get used to that kind of structure of thinking so that you can speed up your language learning. 새로운 단어를 이야기, 게임이나 영화와 연관 짓습니다. I associate new words with stories, games, or movies. 새로운 단어를 이야기, 게임이나 영화와 연관 짓습니다. I associate new words with stories, games, and movies. When I was in elementary school, there was one movie that I really liked, which is the movie called The Net. I like the story, I like everything about the movie, so I was watching it again and again at home. 실제로 들을 수 있도록 단어를 큰 소리로 말합니다. I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. 실제로 들을 수 있도록 단어를 큰 소리로 말합니다. I say words out loud so that I can actually hear them. So learning language is kind of combination of different abilities. So I think it's important to say the words out loud when you study them. 원어민과 가능한 한 자주 말합니다. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. 원어민과 가능한 자주 말합니다. I speak as often as possible with native speakers. If you're in Korea, I think it's very easy to meet native speakers. It's because Korean people love to meet someone from outside Korea. 일상생활에서 그 언어를 사용하려고 노력합니다. I try to use the language routinely in the context of daily life. 일상생활에서 그 언어를 사용하려고 노력합니다. I try to use the language routinely in the context of daily life. In Korea, many people are saying that like if you want to master language, you have to get married a native speaker of that language because you can just use it almost every day. But not everyone can do that. So what I tried was to expose myself to the language as much as possible and repeat it. So for example, I try to listen the news in Japanese or news in English as much as I can do that on the subway, on the bus. 종종 어린 아이들을 위한 TV나 유튜브 동영상을 감상합니다. I often watch TV or YouTube videos that are designed for young children. 종종 어린아이들을 위한 TV나 유튜브 동영상을 감상합니다. I often watch TV or YouTube videos that are designed for young children. And in Korea, there's one very popular animation which is called Pororo. Different types of animals as main characters. And I believe you can find a clip of the animation on YouTube too, or if you're in South Korea, you can easily, watch the program on TV. That program is for kids, but actually the stories are very interesting. 비록 상대방이 이해하지 못하더라도 가족이나 애완견과 대화를 하며 매일 꾸준히 연습합니다. I'm persistent in practicing every day by talking to my family or my dogs, even though they don't understand me. So no matter if your family doesn't understand the language that you're studying, I think you can just use just a little bit of that. And if they hear it again and again, they will get used to what you mean, like saying 사랑해, I love you, or 다녀오세요, please have a safe trip. 술자리를 가지세요, have a casual drink. Especially in South Korea, I think that's the most efficient way to, have a daily conversation with Korean people, having some drinks. So just make some casual gathering with drinks or with coffee is okay too. And just practice your Korean with native speakers. No matter how bad your Korean is or how many mistakes you make, you go through that and later, you can improve your Korean. Okay, that's all 10 ways to remember words. If you have any tip to share, please leave comments below. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. 안녕히 계세요. Korean? I was kind of feeling it like, can I just get a cookie? Oh!